Hello all, I'm Guna Madhivanan from Officers IAS Academy. Friends, we are coming up with an exclusive live quiz program based on current affairs targeting 2024 prelims on a weekly basis. So every Saturday at 6 p.m. in our Officers Path channel, we will be coming up with this live quiz program. So how to participate? So for which you have to install an mobile application. So go to either App Store or the Google Play Store to download this application named Kahoot application. Download and install it. Alright. So every Saturday at 6 p.m. in the live video, I will be giving you a 7-digit PIN. So you have to enter that 7-digit PIN in your installed application. In that Kahoot application, you have to enter that 7-digit PIN. Or we will give you a QR code. If you are not interested in installing the application, you can scan the QR code in the web browser. You can open the web page. In that you can enter this 7-digit PIN number and you can participate in this quiz program. So once you enter the 7-digit number, the application will ask you to give a username. So you have to give your username. Followed by your username, please give your last 4 digits of your mobile phone number. For example, my username is Guna8990, the last 4 digits of my phone number. So like that you can create your own username. That's all. You are ready to participate in the quiz. So in the live video, I will be showing you the question. The question will be followed by 4 options as usual, A, B, C, D. The 4 options will have a color code, right? So option A, red color, option B, blue color, option C, green color, option D, yellow color. So the 4 options will have 4 different color codes. So in your mobile phone, you have installed the Kahoot application, right? So the Kahoot application in your phone, in your device, it will show you 4 colored box, only 4 colored box. Only in the video which you are watching, in that live video, I will give you the question, followed by that 4 option I will be giving you. The 4 option will have a color code, right? So if you are going to choose A as the right answer, then A has red color, then in your mobile phone you will have a red colored box. You have to choose that. That's all. If the answer which you have chosen is correct, and if you have chosen that quickly, for every question we will give you 60 seconds. Assume that I am choosing A is the right answer, and I am choosing within 20 seconds, within 10 seconds. Based on how quickly I choose the question, I have to choose the correct one and I have to choose it as early as possible. So the one who is choosing at the earliest will be given more points. So if I am choosing in 20 seconds, I will be given more points. If someone is choosing at 30 seconds, then relatively lesser points, right? So this is how the quiz will work. So at the end of the program, we will show you the leaderboard. Between the questions also, I will show you the leaderboard. At the end, I will show you the final leaderboard. The one with more number of points will be given a certificate, right? The idea of the quiz program is to provide you a real-time experience of solving the questions along with that competitive environment, right? I hope this program adds more value to your preparation. So along with this, we have a daily current affairs hit list series, daily answer rating initiative. So all these initiatives will give you a competitive edge in your 2024 prelims as well as mains. Right? I hope this adds more value to your preparation. So see you in the quiz. Till then, bye. Take care.
Hello aspirants, welcome to Officers General Quiz. Myself, Balachander DC. I teach International Relations and Anthropology here in Officers. So in the last 15 years, about myself, in the last 15 years, I spent first 10 years for preparing civil services, and the next 5 years, I went to teaching. I started my preparation in Delhi. I was there for 6 years. Then I moved to Chennai. here in Ananagar. I spent 2 years and I moved to Bangalore for my preparation for my last 2 attempts. So I was there for 2 years. Then I got into teaching for the past 5 years. So in this journey, I had seen a lot of aspirants throughout the country, thousands of aspirants starting from Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, and I worked in Hyderabad for 6 months also. So here aspirants ask me one question. So from this 15 years, what you have seen, like what it takes to crack this exam, to crack this civil services exam. So I always say that it takes only, we need only 2 things to crack this examination. The first one, everyone talks about it, that is hard work, efforts from the aspirant side. Without that, there is no other option. So the first one is hard work, but the second one is very, very important if you ask me, that is the right guidance. So guidance is very important if you are someone interested in preparing for civil services, or if you already started your preparation, make sure that you get the right guidance and then prepare accordingly, which is very, very important to crack this examination. So right guidance and right preparation, only 2 things to crack this examination. One of my favorite quote, that is, execution without strategy is aimless and strategy without execution is useless. So always make sure that if you are preparing, you prepare with the right strategy, you get the right guidance. So with that message, we'll start today's quiz. We'll get to the first question. So our first question today is, the emissions gap report is an annual publication of which of the following? So that is our first question. The emissions gap report is an annual publication of option A, UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, option B, International Union for Conservation of Nature, option C, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, option D, International Energy Agency. So you have 30 seconds to answer this question. First question of the day. So your time's up, and yes, most of you answered correctly. The right answer is option A, United Nations Environment Program. So emissions gap report is published annually by United Nations Environment Program. So what is this report is all about? Why we need such a report? We all know, we all talk about global warming, climate change. In that perspective, this report is very important in addressing global warming. So we have Paris Agreement, the Paris Deal 2015, which talks about limiting this global warming, the average increase in Earth's surface temperature within 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius from pre-industrial levels. So if you see, already we are close to 1 degree Celsius. Our average, Earth's average surface temperature is 1 degree Celsius more than compared to pre-industrial levels. So we want to keep this increase in temperature within 1.5 to 2, not more than that. So that is the goal of Paris Agreement. So to achieve that, we need to have certain emission targets. The greenhouse gas emissions should be reduced drastically. So if you see, we have to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by at least 30 to 35% by the year 2030, so that we can achieve the target of 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius Paris Climate Deal. So this emission gap report gives an idea about each country, how much now they are emitting and what they are supposed to achieve this goal of Paris Climate Deal. So that is what is about emissions gap report. So now let's see the leaderboard. So we have Mr. Mani topping the charts, then Anand, Joshua, Shakti Devi and Sujit. So good guys, congrats. So we'll move to the second question now. Consider the following statements about fiat money. It is a currency that lacks intrinsic value. They are backed by a physical commodity such as precious metals. So we have two statements. Which of the statements given above are correct? So you have 60 seconds to answer this question. So option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, and option D neither 1 nor 2. So you have 60 seconds. So yes, so it is a currency that lacks intrinsic value. The first statement, that is correct. And the second, they are backed by a physical commodity such as precious metals. The statement 2 is wrong. So the right answer is option A 1 only. It's good that most of you answered correctly. If you see fiat money, what is a fiat money? It does not have any intrinsic value, does not have any value on its own. For example, the paper currencies we use today, they don't have any intrinsic value on their own. They are just a piece of paper. Indian rupee, US dollar, euro, any currency for that matter, what we use today, the paper currency, that is nothing but a fiat currency because they don't have intrinsic value. Earlier days, if you see during the ancient times, medieval times, we used to have this gold coins, silver coins. If you see gold coins, they have their intrinsic value, but not this paper currencies. So these are called fiat money. So on what guarantee people use this currency? Based on the guarantee given by the respective governments. So this paper currency has so and so value because it is guaranteed by the respective governments, the central banks, in India RBI, right? So that is fiat money. So the right option is option A. So now we'll see the leaderboard. So now Anant moved to the top spot. So we have Manuraj, a new entrant, Joshua and Sakti Devi. Congrats, Manuraj. So we have Nivi, the highest climber, up 5 places. Congrats, Nivi. So yes, keep playing. We'll move to the next question, the third question of the day. Which genetically modified crop is allowed in India? Option A, BT cotton. Option B, BT mustard. Option C, BT brinjal. Option D, BT rubber. So you have only 30 seconds for this question. The right answer is option A, BT cotton. BT cotton is the only genetically modified crop that is being commercialized and that is being cultivated in India. So there is a ban on BT brinjal, so no BT mustard. And who approves this? Which genetically modified crop can be cultivated or commercialized in India? Who gives the approval? That is also very important, you should know. That is the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, which comes under the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. That gives the approval for commercial cultivation of this genetically modified crops. And another important aspect here is when we talk about BT cotton, so this crop variety, this genetically modified crop has been added with genes of Bacillus thuringiensis, the soil bacterium, the genes taken from the soil bacterium, Bacillus thuringiensis. So what it does, why we need this gene? Because the issue with respect to cotton cultivation, the major pest is the pink bollworm, right? That reduces the cotton yield. So for that, this soil bacterium, Bacillus thuringiensis, it secretes this protein which is a toxin for this pink bollworm. So that's why this acts as a pesticide. So that's why we are going for cultivating BT cotton more. And if you see today, most of the cotton cultivated in India is BT cotton. Right. So with that piece of information, we'll see the leaderboard. So now Anand retaining the top spot. Congrats, Anand. Then we have Manuraj, Joshua, Mani and Shakti Devi. So almost the rest maintaining their spots in the top 5. So Joshua has a streak with 3 correct answers in a row. Congrats, Joshua. So we'll move on to the 4th question. So which of the following sectors are eligible for priority sector lending? It's an important question. Education, renewable energy, export credit, agriculture. Which of these sectors are eligible for priority sector lending? So select the correct answer using the codes. Option A 1 only, option B 1 and 2 only, option C 1, 2 and 3 only, option D 1, 2, 3 and 4. You have 60 seconds for this question. So you have 20 more seconds. Time's up. So the right answer is option D. Yes, most of you answered correctly. So priority sector lending, it covers all these sectors given in the question: education, renewable energy, export credit, agriculture. So what is this priority sector lending? If you see, there are certain sectors in Indian economy which are very important for the overall economic growth and development. So the government, the RBI has identified certain sectors which are important for the overall economic growth and development, and these sectors have to be given priority when the banks give their credit. Okay, so that is what is called as priority sector lending. So there are certain percentage. For example, whatever the banks give credit, give loans to various sectors of the economy, out of the total credit the banks give, 40% of it should be given to these specified sectors. So RBI has given a list of these sectors which comes under priority sector lending, which gets 40% of the total credit given by banks. Apart from these 4 sectors, we have MSMEs, other important sectors, micro, small and medium enterprises. Then we have housing, then other projects for social infrastructure that are also part of priority sector lending. So we have sub targets also. Out of the total credit, banks give 40% to all this priority sector lending, and there are some sub targets also. For agriculture, 18% the banks has to give out of their total credit. 80% agriculture they have to give. Like for MSMEs, they should give 7.5% and 12% for weaker sections of the society. The total loans, out of the total loans they give, at least 12% they should give loans to the weaker sections of the society. So this is about priority sector lending. Now we'll see the leaderboard. So Anant maintaining the lead, Manuraj, Mani, Joshua and Shakti Devi. The top 5 remains the same. So let's see what happens in the next question. And we have Shahid, the highest climber. Congrats, Shahid. So we'll move on to the next question. So which state holds the highest number of Ramsar sites in India? Option A Punjab, option B Uttar Pradesh, option C Himachal Pradesh, option D Tamil Nadu. So we have 30 seconds for this. So time up. Is most of you answered correctly. The right answer is option D Tamil Nadu. So what are these Ramsar sites? These Ramsar sites are wetlands of international importance. So we had this Ramsar Convention, which was an important international environment treaty that was held in 1971 in the place called Ramsar in Iran. So that's why it is called as Ramsar Convention, the convention on wetlands to protect, to conserve the wetlands of international importance. So if you see in the 1970s, there was more of environmental consciousness throughout the globe. That's why we see most of the environmental conventions coming out there, Stockholm Convention, Ramsar Convention, and in the 80s, 90s we had CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, then UNFCCC, all that. So 70s, 80s and 90s, people became more conscious about environmental conservation and all this. So this convention is part of the broader environmental conservation efforts. So how many sites are there in India? There are total 75 Ramsar sites in India, and Tamil Nadu has most number of Ramsar sites. There are 14 Ramsar sites in the state of Tamil Nadu. In the year 2022, we saw the Pallikaranai marshland and Pichavaram mangrove forest. These have been added to the Ramsar sites list. So with that, we'll see the leaderboard. So Anant, congrats Anant. So after 5 questions, you are maintaining your lead. You are in the top spot. Then we have Mani, Shakti Devi. I think Shakti Devi climbed few spots. Congrats Shakti Devi. Then we have a new entrant, Thambi 25. So you are a new entrant. Congrats. And then Joshua. So 5 players just hit answer streak 3. Congrats to all of you. Now we'll move to the question number 6. So which of the following country shares the longest land boundary with India? Option A, Pakistan. Option B, Bangladesh. Option C, China. Option D, Myanmar. So you have 30 seconds for this. So 10 more seconds. So the right answer is option B, Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is very much in news, so you should know about the map. How many Indian states share their borders with Bangladesh? All that information you should know. What are the rivers that crisscross India-Bangladesh boundary, and what is the paramilitary force that guards the Bangladesh border, that is the BSF. So all kind of information. So definitely we can expect some question related to Bangladesh in prelims as well as mains. So Bangladesh is the country that shares longest land boundary. So generally we think that by seeing the map might be China, but it's not China, it's Bangladesh. If you see the land boundary, it is, the length is around 4096 kilometers. India and Bangladesh share land boundary of around 4096 kilometers, which is the fifth longest land boundary in the world. So compared to China, Indo-China, it's around 3488 kilometers. Then we have Pakistan, it is 3323 kilometers. Then Myanmar around 1600 kilometers. So India, if you see, we have around 15,000 kilometers of land borders overall, and then 7,500 kilometers of coastal borders. So we need to protect all this. For this we have the defense forces and also the paramilitary forces that you will be studying, part of the internal security. So now we'll see the leaderboard. So congratulations, Mani moved to the top spot. Then we have Thambi moving to second spot. Congrats. Joshua, Anant and Sujit. Yes, Sujit, you're coming again. You got back into the top 5. Congrats to all of you. Then we have Pavi, who is the highest climber, up 3 places. Congrats, get into the top 5. So now we'll move into question number 7. So tax beyond sea is defined as which of the following? Opportunity cost of giving exemptions, deductions, rebates to the taxpayers, that is option A. Then the growth in tax revenue with respect to the growth in GDP. Option C, the growth in tax revenue with respect to the growth in population. Option D, it refers to changes in tax revenue in response to changes in tax rate. So this is an important concept in economy, tax buoyancy. So yes, some of you has chosen option D. Yes, option B and option D are very close, and the right answer is option B. So tax buoyancy, when we say tax is buoyant, whenever there is increase in tax revenue collection with respect to corresponding increase in GDP, then we say a tax is buoyant. For example, let's say India's GDP is growing at a rate of 8%, 7 to 8% year after year, and a particular tax is also, the tax revenue for the government is also growing at a considerable rate. As the economy grows, the tax revenue also grows. Then we say there is tax buoyancy. And what is the option D talks about? It talks about changes in tax revenue in response to changes in tax rate. So that is tax elasticity. When you increase the tax rate, the government getting more taxes, tax collection, that is nothing but tax elasticity, right? So that is the difference between tax elasticity and tax buoyancy. So when we say in tax buoyancy, we are not talking about increase in tax rate. Just it's about we are keeping the tax rate as same, but the GDP grows faster, the tax collection also grows accordingly, then we say there is tax buoyancy irrespective of the tax rate. Okay. So that is about tax buoyancy. Now we'll see the leaderboard. So we have Thambi climbing to the top spot. Congrats. You know, in the last 2-3 questions, before 2-3 questions, he was not part of the top 5. Now he reached the top spot. Congrats, Thambi. Then we have Anant. Anant again gaining back to his top position. Mani, Sujit, Joshua, the top 5. Congrats to all of you. Then 4 players dropped their answer streak of 4. Okay. So congrats to all of you. You have a good streak. Then we'll see. We'll move to the next question. The Gahirmata Marine Wildlife Sanctuary is situated in the state of option A West Bengal, option B Andhra Pradesh, option C Odisha, option D Kerala. You have 30 seconds. So the right answer is option C Odisha. Most of you answered correctly. So Gahirmata Marine Wildlife Sanctuary is very important because of one flagship species. We have olive ridley turtles. The olive ridley turtles, which are the smallest and the abundant sea turtle species in the world, that is olive ridley turtles. Every year you see these olive ridley turtles, they come to Odisha for mass nesting, which is called as Aribada, the mass nesting that happens in the beaches of Odisha. These olive ridley turtles lay their eggs, thousands of such turtles lay their eggs, that is called as mass nesting that happens in these beaches. And one important place is this Gahirmata beach, which is part of the Gahirmata Marine Wildlife Sanctuary, that is in Odisha. You might have heard about the Bhitarkanika mangroves. So the Bhitarkanika mangroves, then we have Gahirmata beach, then Bay of Bengal. That's how the geography is. And the complete Gahirmata Marine Wildlife Sanctuary is part of the Bhitarkanika National Park. So the larger geography is the Bhitarkanika National Park, where we have Gahirmata Marine Wildlife Sanctuary and Bhitarkanika Wildlife Sanctuary also. So which is very important because of olive ridley turtles. And when we talk about olive ridley turtles, these species are very important. We can understand the importance of these species by knowing the fact that they are kept under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act, 1972. So the highest protection is given to this species, and even in IUCN Red List they are categorized as vulnerable. So Schedule 1 in Wildlife Protection Act, vulnerable under IUCN Red List. So now we'll move to the leaderboard. So we are done with 8 questions. So we are almost in the midway. So again, Thambi maintaining his lead as a good lead of more than 500, 600 points. That is very important. So Anant maintaining his second position, Mani, Joshua and Shakti Devi. So the top 5 we keep unchanged. So I want others to play more aggressively and get into the top 5. So we have Arya. So he had 3 correct answers in a row. So congrats Arya. So you should get into the top 5. So we'll move to the next question now. Question number 9. So with reference to the Competition Commission of India, consider the following statements. Competition Commission of India. You have 60 seconds for this question. Statement 1, it is a statutory body. Statement 2, its objective is to prevent practices having adverse effects on competition. Statement 3, it is responsible for the implementation of Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act. So which of these statements are correct? Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 and 3, option C 3 only, option D 1, 2 and 3. So you have 30 seconds more now with respect to Competition Commission of India. So last few seconds. Okay, most of you in this question, most of you chose the wrong answer, but there are some of you who chosen the right answer. The right answer is option A 1 and 2 only. The third statement is wrong. We'll see why. So statement 1 regarding Competition Commission of India, it is a statutory body. Yes, Competition Commission of India is a statutory body which was established by Competition Act 2002. So it has the statutory backing of Competition Act 2002. So it's a statutory body. The first statement is correct. Its objective is to prevent practices having adverse effects on competition. Yes, that is the major objective of this Competition Commission. So as you all know, after 90s we went for a liberalized economy, privatized, globalized economy. So we wanted more role for private sector. So we wanted to ensure there is enough competition in the market. So there is no monopolies, there is no few companies dominating the economy, and we do not want concentration of wealth in few hands. If you see, that's a DPSP. So we do not want few companies to dominate a particular sector. Let's take telecom, let's take air transport, or any sector where there is private players. We do not want few companies to dominate. That's why we want to ensure there is good competition so that the consumers are benefited. So the ultimate goal is the consumer interest. So these companies do not charge exorbitant prices, do not monopolize the market. So that is the goal of establishing this Competition Commission of India. So coming to the third statement, it is responsible for the implementation of Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act. That is wrong, because this Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act was made in the year 1969, but it was repealed in the year 2002 and it was replaced by the Competition Act 2002. So now we don't have this MRTP Act, Monopolies Restrictive Trade Practices Act. Since 2002 we don't have this act, so the third statement is wrong. If you see why we had such a legislation, MRTP legislation, immediately after independence there were many private players started investing, started coming into many sectors of the economy. So the government felt that these few private firms should not dominate or should not monopolize a particular sector of the economy. So that's why they had this MRTP Act 1969. So if you see the Competition Commission of India, we have a chairman and 6 members, and they are all appointed by the central government. That's a piece of information that you should be aware of. So with that, we'll move to the leaderboard. So we have Thambi maintaining the top position, and Thambi, you have a very tough competitor coming very closely to you. Isaac, yes, a new entrant. Congrats, Isaac. So you jumped into the second spot directly. Many congratulations to you. Anand, you moved to third place. So we are expecting a good fight from you. And Mani and Sujit, congrats. You keep maintaining your top spots. So we have Harish Srinath, who is the highest climber. Congrats, Harish Srinath. Try to get into the top 5. So now we'll move into question number 10. Which process is responsible for converting solid into gas particles? Option A, sublimation. Option B, condensation. Option C, distillation. Option D, evaporation. So we have 30 seconds for this question. So it's a very simple and direct question. So the process responsible for converting solid into gas particles, right? Direct conversion of solid into gaseous state. So the right answer is option A, sublimation. So if you see condensation, so what happens in condensation? The vapor or gaseous state gets converted into liquid state, that is condensation, under cooling condition. Best example, condensation happens during rainfall, right? Precipitation, rainfall, that happens. The cloud which is in the gaseous state get condensed into liquid form when it is cooled. So that is condensation. Then we have distillation. Distillation is opposite of this. What we see is the liquid state getting converted into vapor state, and again this vapor is condensed back into liquid form. So that is distillation. So distillation, you can say kind of you have both evaporation and condensation combined, that is distillation. So evaporation, you all know, that is liquid state converted into gaseous state under heating effect. So that is evaporation. So sublimation is direct transformation into gaseous state from solid state without getting into liquid state. So that is sublimation. Best example for sublimation is we have the camphor, right? Camphor, when you burn the camphor from solid state, it gets transformed into gaseous state directly, that is sublimation. So we'll see the leaderboard now. So Thambi maintaining the lead, congrats. Isaac holding strongly his second position. Anand maintaining his third position very strongly. Sujit and Shakti Devi, and now we see Shakti Devi getting back to the top 5. Congrats, Shakti Devi. So Isaac, we have Isaac has a streak with 4 correct answers. Congrats, Isaac. That's why you moved to second position. So try to get into the top position. So all the best. Congrats, guys. We'll move to the next question. So now we are into question number 11. You have 5 more questions to decide the winner. Which among the following are the criteria to declare a language as classical language? So you have 60 seconds for this question. So what are the criteria for classical language? The language must have a high antiquity of its early text over a period of 1500 to 2000 years. The literary tradition can either be original or borrowed from another speech community. So these are the 2 statements. Which of the above are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option D, neither 1 nor 2. So you have 60 seconds for this. Okay, I hope most of you answered this question. So the right answer is option A, 1 only. If you see the first statement, the language must have a high antiquity of its early text over a period of 1500 to 2000 years. If you see in 2004, Tamil was declared as a classical language by Government of India. So if you see the Tamil literary texts, they had this antiquity. That means they are present since the ancient times for thousands of years. So best example, we have Tirukural, then Silapadikaram, Manimegalai, the Sangam literature. If you see, they have this high antiquity. So the first statement is correct. Second, the literary tradition can either be original or borrowed from another speech community. That statement is wrong because it should be, the literature should be original and it cannot be borrowed from other speech community for becoming a classical language. For getting this classical language status, the literature should be original. So how many classical languages are there in India? Right now we have 6 classical languages. So Tamil was the first language to be declared as a classical language in the year 2004 by Government of India. So what are the other languages? 4 languages from South India. So we have Tamil, then Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, then we have Odisha and Sanskrit. So these are the 6 languages. So Odia was the latest one addition to the list of classical languages. 2014 Odia was added. I think Malayalam was added in 2013. So Tamil was declared as a classical language in the year 2004. So we'll see the leaderboard now. So we are left with 4 more questions. So again, Thambi maintaining a good lead of around 700 plus points. Very good, Thambi. Anant from third position, he moved to second. Congrats, Anant. Try to move to the first position. Then we have Manuraj, who was there in the first rounds, again getting into top 5. Congrats, Manu. Then Isaac, then Sujit. Congrats to all of you. Then we have Priya, BSS Priya, who is the highest climber. Congrats, Priya. Try to get into the top 5. So we'll move to the next question, question number 12. The Human Development Index is based on which of the following indicators? So again, very important aspect. So you have 60 seconds for this question. So Human Development Index based on which of the following indicators? Number 1, real economic growth rate. Number 2, life expectancy at birth. Number 3, mean years of schooling. Number 4, expected years of schooling. So which of the statements above are correct? So option A, 1, 2 and 3 only. Option B, 1, 3 and 4 only. Option C, 2, 3 and 4 only. Option D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we have 30 more seconds now. So I got your answers, and yes, there are some who chose option A, but the right answer is option C. Right. So Human Development Index, this report is released annually by UNDP. We talked about emission gap report, that is released by UNEP. Then we have this HDI released by UNDP, UN Development Program. Starting from the year 1990, this HDI report is published. Before that, the entire world talked about only economic growth, and only we discussed what is the GDP growth rate of various countries and all that. So we started focusing more on development. There is a lot of difference between economic growth and development. If your GDP is growing 7%, 8%, we say there is economic growth. But for development, the benefits of this growth, the fruits of this growth should reach to all the sections of the society, then we say there is development. Right? The benefits of growth should reach to all sections of society, that is development. So Amartya Sen and Mehboob ul Haq from Pakistan, the economist, so they both gave this concept of HDI, and this HDI is calculated based on 3 important parameters. One is related to health, second education, the third is the standard of living. So these 3 parameters, health, education and standard of living. So health measured by life expectancy at birth, education measured by mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling, 2 subcategories, and then the standard of living measured by gross national income per capita. Simply put, it is per capita income. So these are the factors. So if you see in the question statement, So the first statement, real economic growth rate, that is wrong. It is not measured based on real economic growth rate, it is based on per capita income or gross national income per capita. Then 2, 3 and 4 are correct. Life expectancy at birth, mean years of schooling, expected years of schooling, these are correct. So if you see what is India's rank in 2023-24, the latest report, so we see that India's rank was 134 out of 193 countries with a score of 0.644. So India with a score of 0.644, our rank was 134. And who topped this chart? We had Switzerland. Switzerland, the HDI rank topped, Switzerland topped this ranking, and second Norway, and we had Iceland. So the top 3 countries in HDI ranking, the recent 2023-24 is Switzerland, Norway and Iceland. So India's rank is 134. If you see our neighbors, we are far behind our neighbors also, many of our neighbors. So China rank 75, Sri Lanka 78, then if you see Bhutan, I think 125, then Bangladesh 129, so India is 134. So we need to work more on development, and the most important aspect is India is the fastest growing economy in the world. So our GDP growth is very, very good. We are the fastest growing economy in the world, but when it comes to development, we are not doing that good. We are almost at 130 plus every year, right? So we'll see the leaderboard now. So we have Thambi maintaining a very good lead, and Manuraj maintaining second position. Isaac moved to, I think, from 4th to 3rd. Anant, I could see that there is good competition among the top 3, 4. So it's good to see, and congrats Priya. So BSS Priya, you got into the top 5, congratulations, and tried to get into the top. And we have Shahid, again he's back in the game, 3 correct answers in a row. Congrats to all of you. So we are into the last 3 questions, question number 13 now. So which of the following national parks has one of the highest numbers of one-horned rhinos? So we have 30 seconds. Option A, Namdapha National Park. Option B, Kaziranga National Park. Option C, Kanha National Park. Option D, Dachigam National Park. So we have few seconds more. Yes, you got your answers, and most of you answered correctly. Good guys. The right answer is Kaziranga National Park. So Kaziranga National Park was declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the year 1985. So we have the most number of one-horned rhinos in Kaziranga National Park. Around 2,500 one-horned rhinos we could see that there in Kaziranga. And Kaziranga is also declared as an important bird area by BirdLife International. So that is also an important fact here we should remember. Then Kaziranga National Park is very well known for one-horned rhinoceros, but there are other important species also apart from the rhinos. There are elephants. The important species in Kaziranga National Park is elephant. Then we have Royal Bengal tiger and Asiatic water buffalo. So Royal Bengal tiger, Asiatic water buffalo and elephants are also the important species. So they say the big 4 species of Kaziranga National Park. See the important species, important national parks, these you should be aware of. They keep these questions, they ask these questions in the exam. We talked about the Gahirmata Wildlife Sanctuary, we talked about Bitarganika National Park. So now we are talking about the Kaziranga National Park. So we'll move to the leaderboard. So we have Thambi again topping the charts. Congrats Thambi. We have only 2 more questions for the rest to catch up. Manuraj, Isaac, Anant and BSS Priya, yes. The top 5 are sealed now. So, but I would like to see some new names there. So we have 3 players hitting an answer streak of 4. Good going, guys. We'll see. We are left with the last two questions. So we'll see the question number 14 now. So consider the following statements. You have 60 seconds for this question. The Ministry of Home Affairs is the central government's nodal ministry for managing natural disasters. The Home Minister is the chairman of National Disaster Management Authority. Which of the above statements are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. And option D, neither 1 nor 2. So again, this is very important topic. Recently the Wayanad landslides we have seen. In that context, we should be aware of NDMA and NDRF and the overall disaster management framework in India. So your time's up. The right answer is option A. So if you see, the Home Ministry is the nodal ministry for managing natural disasters. Yes, disaster management comes under the Home Ministry. So the statement 1 is right, and statement 2, Home Minister is the chairman of NDMA, that is wrong. The Prime Minister is the chairman of National Disaster Management Authority. The NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, was established in the year 2005 based on NDMA Act 2005, right, which gives the legal framework for disaster management in the country. So, and this authority, and we have state level disaster management authorities and district level authorities. So if you become a district collector, you will be heading the district disaster management authority, right. So what we see here is this authority works for taking measures for preventing disasters and also responding disasters whenever it happens. So, and it coordinates with respect to all the ministries, it coordinates with center and state governments, and overall policy framework for disaster management, how we need to plan for disaster management and how we need to make our infrastructure disaster resilient. So all these important aspects that will be handled by National Disaster Management Authority. So we'll see the leaderboard now. So Thambi leading the chart with 100 plus points. Congrats Thambi. Then we have Manuraj, Isaac, Anant and BSS Priya. Again, the top 5 is sealed. So I hope there is some competition within the top 5 and from the rest also. So you never know, in the last question anything can happen. We have Harish Srinath, who has a streak with 7 correct answers. So congrats Harish Srinath. I hope with the next question we will get into the top 5. So now we will move to the last question of the day. So question number 15. Consider the following statements. So you have 60 seconds for this question. The leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are entitled to the salary, allowance and other facilities equivalent to that of a cabinet minister. Option 2, statement 2, the office of the leader of the opposition is not mentioned in the constitution. So which of the above statements are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option D, neither 1 nor 2. So the right answer is option C, both 1 and 2. If you see the first statement, the leader of opposition in both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they are entitled to salary allowances equivalent to that of a cabinet minister. Yes, that is correct. The leader of the opposition got statutory recognition based on salary allowances of Leader of Opposition Act 1977. So based on that act, the leader of opposition got the statutory recognition, which provided that the leader of opposition in both houses should have the rank and status allowances of a cabinet minister, which is very important. And then the second statement talks about the office of the leader of the opposition is not mentioned in the constitution. Yes, that statement is also correct. It is not mentioned in the constitution. It is mentioned only in this office of leader of opposition salaries and allowances Act 1977. Only we could see the mentioning of leader of opposition only in this act, but not in the constitution. It is not mentioned in the constitution. So what we see is there is a requirement of 10% of members, the strength of a largest opposition party having a minimum strength of at least 1/10 of the total numbers of Lok Sabha, then they can go for this recognition, and the speaker in the case of Lok Sabha and the chairman in the case of Rajya Sabha, they can give the approval for leader of opposition if they have this enough strength, that is 1/10 of the total membership of the house. So recently what we have seen is Rahul Gandhi being elected as the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, and we have Mallikarjuna Kharge again from Congress being the leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha. Right. And leader of opposition is very important position in any democracy. They give this constructive criticism for the ruling government. So you can say they will always give the alternative opinion on various developmental aspects and all that. And not only that, the leader of opposition is part of various important parliamentary committees like the Public Accounts Committee and the Estimates Committee, etc. And they will be part of the joint parliamentary committees which play a crucial role in many important issues. So not only this, the leader of opposition is also a member of the various selection committees. So we have various selection committees where we could see that Prime Minister is a member, the Chief Justice of India and leader of opposition, all of them being members to select the heads of various statutory bodies. So what are these statutory bodies? We have Central Vigilance Commission, then Central Bureau of Investigation, the CBI, then we have Lokpal, then Chief Information Commissioners, then we have National Human Rights Commission. For all this, for these statutory bodies, for selecting their head members, we have this selection committee where leader of opposition is an important member of this selection committee. That's why we should be aware of the provisions, the constitutional provisions and other aspects with respect to leader of opposition. So with this, we'll see the final leaderboard for the last question today, the toppers. So the podium, so the final finish. So we have Isaac. Congrats Isaac, you got the third position. Then we have Manuraj second, and we have the topper. So Thambi, congratulations. So you topped the quiz today. So few questions back you are not there in the top 5. It's really great. And in fact Manuraj also. Both Manuraj and Thambi, I think in the first 7-8 questions you are not in the top 5, but you jumped into the top 2 positions. So that is great, and it was good playing this quiz today. And congrats to all other aspirants who took part in this quiz. So keep participating in this. As I always say, we are living in a knowledge economy, information age. So whatever you know, this information, this knowledge will always be useful to you in one or the other government exam and all that. So and I wish you all the best, and for those preparing for civil services, I wish you all the best. And for the toppers, the top 3 players in today's quiz, so you can follow the procedure that is being shown in the screen. So you can contact our admins. So you will be rewarded with prizes. You will be given e-certificates. So you can contact our admin with the respective details given in the screen. So wish you all the very best guys, and thank you for participating in this quiz. Meet you all in some other quiz